What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, really appreciate you watching another video here. And if you haven't already, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, guys. Hit that subscribe button for me, and also drop a comment as well. All right, so on today's video, we actually got a really good interview for you that I'm going to be reacting to. So this is coming from the Patrick Bet David podcast from the Valuetainment YouTube channel. Now, if you guys don't know who Patrick Bet David is, he's a very, very smart man. Again, he created the Valuetainment and hosts his podcast where they don't necessarily talk about like red pill, blue pill kind of stuff. They talk more like business, finance, and overall like how to become a better man in today's day and age. And I really would highly recommend going and checking out his YouTube channel. But the reason why we're going over it today is because they have the godfather of the red pill on here, Rollo Tomassi, okay? Now, let's just, this isn't going to necessarily be too deep dive into the red pill talk, but I thought it was actually a great interview. They sat down for 2 hours, okay? We're not going to watch the whole interview, but I thought Rollo really represented himself well in this interview. He defended his beliefs in the red pill stance, and overall, it was a great conversation. So again, I really would recommend going and watching it. Today's clip, we're just going to go over a short segment to where they were discussing what people can do to become more sexually attractive. Okay, so as always, we're going to go ahead and watch the clip, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it afterward.
What is the non-natural? Because I know when you use the word natural, what can the non-natural do to increase their market value, both men and women?
As far as sexual market value is concerned?
Yeah, like you say you're available, you're single, okay? And you're in the marketplace right now, and you're like, listen, maybe you're at not at the best place career-wise. You're kind of trying to get it together. Maybe you're trying to make a comeback. And maybe you're a woman who's, 34 years old, and you're single, and your last relationship didn't work out. Maybe you're a single mother right now, and you left your husband, or vice versa, right? You're by yourself. What can that person do to increase their market value to be attractive to the opposite sex?
Very easy for men. There's three core aspects, and really four if you think about it. There's make muscles, make money, and learn game. And in terms of game, I mean like social skills that a lot of guys, by the way, are very lacking these days. And then as the fourth part of that is hold frame. Like, so once you have built that world, with make money, make muscles, learn game, then you have frame as a part of that. And again, this is a psychological, sociological term. Like, what's the frame right now? And it doesn't necessarily have to do with just, interpersonal relationships. It can be your boss. It can be your mom or your dad and your family. Like, frame is like whoever's frame, psychological frame you're entering into, or they're entering into yours. So when we're looking at guys sort of coming back from being like, okay, I'm deficient in these areas. Most men, when they find what works for them, they gross out in one of those areas. So I don't make a lot of money. I'm kind of poor, but man, I can go bench 400 pounds.
Sure.
Right? I'm in the 300 club. Right? I can, whatever it is, I can maximize my looks and everything at the cost of my deficiency in, say, money or even in game. We see a lot of this in black pill communities right now, where they think it's nothing but looks. It's to the point where they're doing jaws size so they can get a better jawline or doing.
All right, hold on. So let's pause it right there. So I'm so glad that Rollo brought up the black pill community, because I don't know, a lot of you guys that watch the channel, watch the videos, are black pill as well. Okay, so I got a whole video coming out on why the black pill doesn't make sense at all, and I'm pretty much debunking it. So stay tuned for that one. But just to kind of piggyback off what Rollo's talking about, right? He's pretty much going over that you want to be well-rounded, guys, okay? You don't want to just only have the looks and no game, or you have some game but your physique isn't good, or your money's not right, your career's not there. You want to pretty much be well-rounded, okay? Because you want to be able to present all the different options that you have available when you're picking and choosing who's going to be the right woman for you. Now, obviously, when you have all these things going for you together, that's going to always increase your sexual market value as well. And then from there, you actually will be able to pick and choose who you want to kind of move forward with. Another great thing that I really feel like was great about the interview is, look at the question that Patrick Bet David asked, right? He's kind of getting some more information for both men and women, And the question he asked, I mean, guys, a lot of people find ourselves in that situation, right? How we first started, learning this red pill content. Maybe you're newly single, your wife left you, the marriage didn't work, something like that. So I thought he asked from a really sincere place, because that's where a lot of people are finding themselves in today.
Surgery as a result of this really kind of obsessive misunderstanding that it's only about looks. Okay. So what you would think that these guys would be like, gym bros, or they would be like personal trainers or something. But that's one area that is, if you're deficient in one of those areas, you tend to gross out in others. So what I would suggest is look at which areas you tend to be really strong at, and then look at where you tend to be weak at. Most guys, if they're weak in money, they tend to gross out in looks. If they're fat and they don't look very good, or they're not naturally good looking, they tend to gross out in money and say, well, it's all about the money, and all I have to do is just pay for everything, and girls will want to come to me.
Okay.
And then it's like there's the game.
All right, so let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there, right? So, guys, that's a great point. So if you do have a lot of money, right, that should not be an excuse for you leading with your wallet, so to speak, right? So you don't always want to pay for everything for the woman just because you don't feel like you have developed either your body enough, physique, or your game enough to where now you're pretty much forced to use your money and lead with your wallet. But even if you do have a lot of money, guys, that's still not the way to really go about things, right? Because, okay, maybe you have a lot of money now, but what if a situation happens to where you don't, right? Or you don't have as much money as you used to have. Now what are you going to rely on? If that ever happens, then you want to have the two other pillars going, your game going and your physique. That way, just in case something happens to money, and vice versa, right? Maybe something happens to where your game isn't as tight, so now you're using maybe your looks and then your money instead of your game. That's why it's actually important to have all three. You want to be firing all cylinders here.
Aspect of it. Well, I don't have either of those, but I'm very charming, and so therefore I can, I know people's psychology, and you tend to gross out in that area as well. My suggestion to guys is if you really want to build yourself up, look where you're weak in those core three things, because the fourth is to have frame as a result of all of those three things. So if you are not in good shape, which, what is it, 75% of the United States population is like overweight, and like 40% is like morbidly obese, that's usually the best place to start. Get your fat ass in the gym. That will help you out.
Guys, so, you know what? I didn't fact check him if the percentages are right. They sound about right. 75%. 75%. So think about it like this, guys. If you just started to get in the gym and develop your physique, you already jumped into that top 25%. You already jumped in. Then you want to, if you can add the game and also the finances, now you're top 20, top 10%. So you're right there. So it's not really that hard to do that, guys. Think about it like that. If you just try a little bit, because you have 75% of people who are not trying as far as physique goes. So that's why we always talk about how important it is to really get in the gym and start working out. Because again, in a world where 75% of people are not trying, you can be in that top 25% that are trying, okay? And that's going to automatically set you apart.
With your just not necessarily the look side of things, but it'll help you feel better because you're releasing stress, and there's a biochemical aspect that goes along with that. If you're deficient in money, people will say, well, how do I get on my game with money? Crypto. How do I become an entrepreneur? How do I learn a trade? How do I I'm better at these things? Find out what your core strengths are. Primarily, when I'm telling guys, like they ask me this question, first and foremost, I say, what is sedating you? Is it pornography? Is it booze? Is it prescription drugs? Is it your addiction to World of Warcraft? Whatever it is, whatever that is sort of your escape.
Video games.
It's a life that is...
There you go. So he put it perfectly, right, guys? What's sedating you, aka what's holding you back? What's stopping you from going to the gym? You don't have any time? You don't have 3 or 4 hours a week to go? You can't prepare your food and cook your meals at home, which is actually cheaper and healthier for you? What exactly is stopping you from getting in there and working out, guys? when you really think about it, it should be nothing.
It's better to live in your escape than it is in your shitty real life. I think that's the first and foremost, is find out what's sedating you, because you can't address any of those core three until you figure out what's keeping you in bed all day long, and you don't want to.
Do you think this metaverse concept is going to help that, or hurt?
It's funny. We were just talking about this. Yeah, I think it's gonna hurt, because it's going to be more like I think a more immersive experience.
Right. If you're not happy with your life, just go check into the metaverse. Good luck out there.
Well, remember when World of Warcraft and those online role playing games came out, and everybody was neglecting their children because they were too busy trying to level up. If that's human nature, imagine what it's going to be like when we get into the metaverse. And we're already talking about women are filing suit against Meta for being sexually assaulted in the metaverse right now, and you're already seeing real world problems sort of being transferred over into the metaverse. We're already, it's a natural shift over. But I think that will be an escape, that will be a sedation to keep you locked in place, to keep you in neutral. For women, my biggest concern with women, and it's funny you brought up, what if you're a divorced mom of 5 or whatever, and you want to get back into the game? Well, first and foremost, you have to remember what it is that men are looking for, and at what particular age. I'm 53 years old. If I were to find myself single, I'm not going to be looking for a woman who is, say, 25 years old, because I've already gone through that phase of life. I'm mature enough and I can think critically enough to go, you know what, it might be fun, to have a fling with that person, but you're not going to build a life with that person going forward.
Yeah, a lot of people in Palm Beach would disagree with you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's how you get sugary science.
I see people in Palm Beach that got offended. It's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, continue.
So as far as women are concerned, I think women need to see the forest for the trees right now. I don't think a lot of women look ahead long term. I work with these guys, Fresh and Fit, which are in Miami here, and you're probably familiar with them. They have one of the number one podcasts, certainly in Southern Florida, if not dating podcasts over the world. They bring in women regularly, and you'll say, well, they're all ratchet hoes from the clubs or whatever like that.
No disagreement.
Yeah,
here.
but so you can. But when you listen to these girls, they all have the same stories. I'm looking for a guy who is the guy's going to take me on yacht parties. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for a guy who's got money. I'm looking for. It seems like they're looking at sort of towards the future, but what they're not understanding is that at their point of life, say as I said, 18 to 28 years old, they don't realize that their sexual selectivity, the party's going to be over at some point, because they're going to be replaced by the next cycle of 18 to 28-year-olds that come in. So, the joke is they called the store Forever 21, not Forever 41. Because women are always looking back at that peak, those peak years, man. Because that's when they had they're the top of their agency. They're at the top of their power, the power curve that I was saying before. And they constantly look back to that. And as women go forward, I think there's almost a blue pill for women as well, which is we sell women on this idea of what I call fempowerment. And we've been doing this really since 1970, since the sexual revolution. We want to put women into the workplace. We want to have special dispensation for them in colleges. We want to get.
All right, I'm gonna stop right there, because they kind of go a little bit into some other topics and stuff. They talk about metaverse and things like that. And again, you got to watch the whole interview. It's really good, guys. I really can't recommend it enough. But just to kind of go back here, because again, they're going to talk about some other stuff. But again, guys, in a world where people are seemingly, a lot of guys are just seemingly not trying, be that guy that tries. Be the guy that's going to go for it. Okay? It's really not too late. If you're watching this video, you're still alive, so it's not too late. Okay? Get into the gym. Get your finances up, guys. Stop wasting money on nonsense. And again, learn the game. And as we talk about learning the game, let's just interact with women, guys. Getting out there, interacting with women, talking to women, picking women up, doing cold approaches. You can't only do online game. Yes, online game is part of it, and text game is part of it, but you have to actually get out there and get into it. All right, guys? So for all you black pill guys, you can't just give up. It's called the game for a reason, guys. You got to play it. You can't win if you don't play. And if you're not playing, you're never going to find anybody, right? So I thought, again, this was, they hit on some great points. Rollo really represented himself well in his beliefs. Patrick Bet David and his co-host Adam. I'm not sure they can necessarily bought into everything, but they were kind of going along with it. And either way, I appreciate that they had this platform for Rollo to come on. And again, guys, go ahead and watch the whole interview because there's a lot of gems in there. Just too much to really break down. They kind of go all over the place, but too much to break down right now. But go ahead and watch the full thing, all right? It's going to be on the Valuetainment YouTube channel. And, of course, Rollo Tomasz, you can find his stuff on the Rational Mail. All right, guys, so that's the end of the video. As always, I really appreciate you watching. Thanks again for watching the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button for me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and catch you guys in